Very good morning, all of you. Today we'll see the lag compensation. In previous video, we have discussed about the lead compensation, where in the lead compensation we are having a pole and a dominant zero for lead compensation. The lag compensation will have 1 0 and 1 pole. Of course, the pole is a dominated pole here. That means the pole is very nearer to the origin. Dominating pole is nothing but the pole lies next to the origin, we can say, very nearer or next to the origin. That pole is called as a dominating pole. So in the lag compensation, we will have 1 0 and 1 dominating pole because of that lag compensator network. Okay, and if we add this compensation in the control network only when we need a dominating pole, then we will choose lag compensator and we will insert that compensator in that control system. Okay, and you can see the network of lag compensator. Now the difference between lead compensator and lag compensator is, in the lead compensator we will have a parallel capacitor across R1, but in the lag compensator we are having a series capacitor with R2, and here the output is the input is V1 and output is V2. So from this network configuration, again we have to derive the transfer function, because in the control system point of view, in the control system subject point of view, we always see in the form of transfer functions or the system gains, because we are having so many advantages for the transfer function. So that's why we need to convert this electrical network into the equivalent transfer function of this network, so that we can insert that transfer function or gain into the required control system. Okay, so for that we simplify this network and we can derive the transfer function. The output is V2 and input is V1, so the transfer function will be V2 of S by V1 of S for this network. So apply KVL equation, you can directly write that V2 of S by V1 of S is equal to R2 plus 1 by CS, because R2 and CS both are in series, divided by the total impedance, which is R1 plus R2 plus 1 by CS. And if you take LCM in the numerator as well as in the denominator, CS will be the LCM and CS will get cancelled in the numerator as well as the denominator after getting LCM. After simplifying, we will get R2CS plus 1 by R1 plus R2CS plus 1. Now, you simply take R2 as common here. Here in the denominator, you can see, then we can replace this R1 plus R2 by R2 as beta, right? And this R2 into C will be the tau. So what I have done is just divide and multiply with R2 here, so that R1 plus R2 by R2, this term is represented as a beta, and similarly R2 into C, this term is represented as tau, where tau is the time constant. Tau is the time constant. So that means, so that beta and tau, these two values completely depending upon R2, R1 and C, right? And you can see here the beta is always greater than 1. Why? Because you can see the beta term is R1 plus R2 by R2. So the beta will always be greater than 1. Whereas in a lead compensator, we have got alpha, which is inverse to the beta. Alpha is inverse to the beta, because alpha is R2 by R1 plus R2, but beta is R1 plus R2 by R2. So both are inversely related. So that's why alpha is less than 1, but beta is greater than 1. So replace tau and beta in this transfer function. So the final transfer function of lag compensator is GC of S, which is a gain of compensator. So the GC of S is equal to tau S plus 1 by here beta into tau S plus 1. So tau S plus 1 by beta tau S plus 1. So in order to get the poles, in order to get the pole and 0, what we have to do is simply take out the common. In the numerator, take the common tau. Similarly, in the denominator, take a beta tau as common, so that we will have this expression where the 0, from this expression, the 0 is a 1 minus 1 by tau. Minus 1 by tau is 0, and the pole is, this is 0, z. Minus 1 by tau is 0, and the pole is minus 1 by beta tau. Now mark this pole and 0 on the S-plane. So then that graph will be like this. And you can see here, this is 0 and this is pole. We have got the pole as minus 1 by beta tau. In this case, you can see the pole is very near to the origin. Why? Why? Because the beta value is greater than 1. The beta value is greater than 1. That means the denominator having higher value. So the denominator value is going to increase. The denominator value is increasing means this entire value comes down. Comes down means this pole is moving towards 0. Moving towards 0. When compared with 0, the pole is lesser value because the beta value is greater than 1. That's why. That means from this graph, it is very clear that the 0 is away from the origin, and the pole is very nearer to the origin. So that means this pole is the dominating pole. Thus, we can say that in the lag compensation, the pole is more dominating than the 0. But in the lead compensator, 0 is more dominating than the pole. And of course, we have seen that also. Right? So lag and lead both are opposite. That's why, because of this dominating pole, we will have negative phase angle in the system when we connected this lag compensator in series. In series, if we connected this lag compensator in series, then we'll definitely have negative phase angle. We have seen the same but opposite in the lead compensator. The lead compensator produces a positive phase angle. The positive phase angle when we connected in series. So the lag is exactly opposite to the lead. That's why here this lag provides or produces negative phase angle. Okay. And next, you can see the given transfer function, which is GC of S. This is the given transfer function GC of S. This is in S domain. If we want to do the stability analysis in frequency domain, then what we have to do is we have to convert this S domain transfer function into frequency domain transfer function simply by substituting S is equal to j omega. Now substitute S is equal to j omega in the place of S in this transfer function. Then we will get the transfer function in frequency domain as GC of j omega is equal to j into tau omega, because here the S is replaced with j omega. So in the place of tau S, we have written tau j tau omega plus 1 by, in the denominator, j into beta tau omega plus 1. So this is a required transfer function to analyze the stability of the lag compensator in frequency domain analysis. Of course, we will use Bode plot to analyze the transfer function, and we know how to do the Bode plot, how to draw the Bode plot, how to extract the stability, how to determine the stability from the Bode plots, right? So using this transfer function, if we draw the Bode plot, which are having a magnitude plot as well as a phase plot, magnitude as well as a phase plot, you can see this is the magnitude plot of the given transfer function, magnitude plot of the given transfer function, as well as this is the phase plot of the given transfer function. You can see the magnitude is in the with the negative with the negative magnitude we are having, because this is a lag compensator. If you compare the same with the lead compensator, in the lead compensator we have got the positive magnitude, which is inverted curve to this. And similarly, the phase angle also, we have, see here, the phase is negative phase. Just we have discussed about this. The lag compensator produces negative phase angle. It introduces negative phase angle. That's why the phase graph also with the negative angles only. Okay. So from this graph, we can, of course, we can use this graph, we can determine the stability. If that system is unstable, then we can change the K value, we can bring the unstable system into stable system, so that we can calculate this tau and beta values after bringing the stability, right? So this tau and beta values are nothing but tau is equal to R2C and beta is equal to R1 plus R2 by R2. So from these relations, we know tau, we know beta. So from these values, we can assume resistance R1, R2 and C values. They have to satisfy tau value and beta value. Accordingly, we will assume R2C, R1, R2 and C values. So those values can be substituted here, and this network is connected to that control system. So this is how we can modulate, we can bring the unstable system into the stable system by adding this lag compensator with the help of this Bode plot in the frequency domain. And after getting the stability, and what is the effect of this lag compensator, or what is the effect of this lag compensation in the control system? So there are few points, there are few effects. The first one is the gain crossover frequency increases. Because of this lag compensation, the gain crossover frequency of the control system will get increased. And the bandwidth comes down. The bandwidth, you can see here, this is the bandwidth, and this bandwidth comes down, and phase margin will get increased. But the response will be slower or decreased because we are having the bandwidth, less bandwidth. If the bandwidth is more, then the speed of the system will be quick. But because of the less bandwidth, the response will become slower when compared with lead compensator. And not only that, the rise time as well as the settling time also becomes longer. So the rise time will get increased as well as the settling time will get increased. So of course, all these are the disadvantages of the lag compensation. Coming to the advantages, this phase lag network allows a lower frequencies and higher frequencies to be estimated. You can see here, this if we consider this is the bandwidth, you can see the lower frequencies are eliminated and the higher frequencies are also eliminated. So this is one of the advantage. And because of this lag compensator, we can increase the steady state accuracy. And we have a point on steady state accuracy in the introduction part of the compensator. If we keep on increasing the steady state accuracy, then the system may become unstable. The system may become unstable. So that is the one of the disadvantage. So these are the effects and disadvantages of the lag compensators. Okay, thank you.